It was a stormy night in a quiet coastal town where the howling wind rattled windows and heavy rain lashed against the rooftops. Inside her dimly lit apartment, Maria sat curled up on the couch, trying to enjoy a glass of wine and a book. Her phone buzzed, breaking the stillness of the room. She glanced at it, noticing the number displayed was unknown caller. Maria hesitated before answering. Late-night calls were never good news, but curiosity got the best of her. "Hello," she said, her voice steady despite the chill creeping up her spine. No answer. Silence stretched on the other end. She frowned and hung up, shaking her head. Prank call, she thought, returning to her book. Barely 10 minutes passed before her phone buzzed again. The same unknown number appeared. This time, annoyance overshadowed her fear. "What do you want?" she snapped. A crackling noise filtered through, followed by a low, raspy voice. "I'm closer than you think." Maria's heart skipped a beat. She hung up immediately, her hands trembling. The storm outside seemed to grow louder, and she could feel the pressure building in the air, both inside and out. Trying to shake off the unease, Maria moved to the window and peered out. The streetlights flickered, and the usually busy road below was deserted. Only the occasional sound of thunder rumbled in the distance. She double-checked the locks on her door and windows, but something didn't feel right. It was as if the shadows in her apartment had thickened, watching her from every corner. She shook her head and grabbed her phone, considering calling the police. But what would she say? That a mysterious caller had given her the creeps? She knew they wouldn't take it seriously. Instead, she tried to distract herself by texting her friend Lucia. But before she could hit send, her phone buzzed again. Unknown caller. Maria's pulse quickened. This time, she didn't answer. She threw the phone onto the couch and backed away as if it might bite her. But the buzzing didn't stop. The phone kept vibrating, each call coming faster and faster, the same number over and over. "No, no, no," she muttered, picking up the phone and silencing it. The storm raged outside, but it was nothing compared to the dread swirling inside her. She paced the room, breathing heavily, trying to make sense of what was happening. Then the phone buzzed again, but this time there was a text message. The message read, "I'm inside." Maria froze. Every hair on her body stood on end. She looked around the apartment frantically, heart pounding in her chest. Was this some kind of sick joke? Her apartment was small. There was nowhere for anyone to hide. She checked every room, the closets, under the bed. Nothing. But the feeling of being watched wouldn't go away. As she stood in the middle of the living room, her phone buzzed one more time. The message said, "Look behind you." A scream caught in her throat as she whipped around, expecting to see something horrible lurking in the shadows. But there was nothing. Panting, she grabbed her phone and called Lucia. She needed to hear a familiar voice, something to ground her in reality. "Maria?" Lucia's voice was groggy from sleep. "What's going on? Why are you calling so late?" "There's someone." "I don't know. Someone's messing with me," Maria said, her voice trembling. "They keep calling, texting, saying they're inside." "Calm down," Lucia said, her tone becoming more alert. "It's probably just some jerk with nothing better to do. Did you lock the doors?" "Of course I did," Maria snapped, feeling the fear creeping deeper. "But something's not right. They knew things about me, Lucia. Things no one else could know." Lucia was silent for a moment, then said, "I'll be there in 10 minutes. Just stay calm and don't answer any more calls." Maria hung up and clutched the phone to her chest. 10 minutes. She just had to survive 10 minutes. But each second felt like an eternity as the storm raged louder outside. The thunder seemed to shake the entire building, and the lights flickered ominously. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. "You're running out of time." Fear paralyzed her. She didn't want to check the message, but her hands moved on their own. She opened it. Attached to the text was a photo of her, sitting on the couch, staring at her phone. The angle was from behind, as though someone had been standing just a few feet away. Maria dropped the phone, her mind racing. She hadn't heard anyone, hadn't seen anyone. How was this happening? Panic surged through her. She grabbed her keys and bolted for the door. As her fingers fumbled with the lock, her phone rang again, the sound piercing through the storm. Without thinking, she answered. "Hello," she whispered, her voice shaking. "You can't run from me, Maria," the voice rasped. "I'm already here." Her breath hitched. The lights flickered once more, and in that brief moment of darkness, she felt it, something cold brushing against the back of her neck. Maria screamed and threw the door open, sprinting out into the rain-soaked night. She didn't stop running until she reached the street, where the dim glow of a nearby cafe's neon sign offered a sliver of comfort. She collapsed against the wall, gasping for air, her heart pounding in her ears. Lucia arrived minutes later, pulling up in her car. "Maria, are you okay?" she shouted, rushing over. Maria shook her head, trembling. "It's not over, Lucia. It's still with me. It's not just a call. It's something worse."